Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to Radio Seerah on 1575 AM, also streaming on www.radioseerah.com. Yes, dear children, we're going to continue the story of Musa alayhi salam. Now, this chapter will be on the fight of the serpents. On one side, when Musa alayhi salam and Harun alayhi salam. On the other side, the magicians were gathered. Fir'aun was sitting on his throne, and the courtiers were seeing the show from around the throne. Musa alayhi salam said to the magicians, "Think you take the signs of Allah to be magic? Nothing has gone now. Repent in the court of Allah." The magician said, "Keep your advice and tell us who will throw first." "You or us?" Musa alayhi salam said, "First, take out the deity from your heart." The magicians threw the staffs and rope on the ground, and the entire field were filled with serpents and snakes that were moving about. The onlookers clapped. A sort of anxiety overcame Musa alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam threw his staff down by the command of Allah. The staff became a serpent and moved in such a way that all the magicians were astonished, and it swallowed all the serpents in the field. Looking at this, the magicians stared at each other. They put their heads on the ground and said, "This is not magic. It is the sign of Allah, and we can never face him. Indeed, Musa alayhi salam has been sent by Allah Ta'ala." Fir'aun heard this and was enraged. He said, "You fools! Is Musa alayhi salam part of your group and your teacher? Wait! I shall deal with you. I shall sever your hands and feet and hang you. I shall lash your corpse." The magician said, "Do whatever you want. Now we cannot leave the truth and aid lies. Now you can kill us, but you cannot snatch our iman." The courtiers said, "The problem is with Musa. Kill him." However, Fir'aun did not have the courage and put it back. Musa alayhi salam gathered his nation and said, "These oppressive laws will destroy these Egyptians, because Allah does not like oppression." The Bani Israel said, "We understood that difficulties will be removed by your coming. However, this new law is taking our life." Musa alayhi salam said, "This is not the case. Remember Allah." Now Fir'aun started thinking. It was difficult to get rid of Musa alayhi salam, the great magicians of the country. When they could not do anything, what plan should be adopted? The courtiers are truthful in saying that this trouble will be sorted when Musa alayhi salam is finished off. The strength of the Bani Israel will increase and the Egyptians will join, so it will not be surprising. Pharaoh called the courtiers and gave them counsel of killing Musa alayhi salam. One courtier who took Musa alayhi salam as truthful said, "What benefit is there in killing Musa alayhi salam? By killing him, you will not save us from calamities. If he is lying, nothing of ours will be spoiled, only you will die." Pharaoh said, "This is true. However, tell me also that what is the way of being saved from this calamity?" The courtiers said, "It is written in our books that when Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam was ruling Egypt, he used to tell the Egyptians good things, but no one believed him. When he left the world, you understood that now no Rasul of Allah will come. Who knows if Musa is the Rasul of Allah or not?" Hearing this, the Egyptians and the Pharaoh stared at this courtier, but did not say anything. The committee remained as it was. Pharaoh began to laugh and mock at Musa alayhi salam. He began to show his own greatness. If anyone mentioned Musa alayhi salam, he would be enraged. Now, calamities from the heavens started coming. The crops started dying up. Locusts were born. Frogs started coming in the food and drinks. There were lice in the clothes. The water of the rivers and wells became red. When drinking it, the smell of blood came from it. When crops were harvested, locusts came and would fill it up. The pride of Pharaoh did not decrease with this. So Musa alayhi salam gathered all his people and said, "Go to the land of your forefathers and leave this country. Look how Allah will punish these Egyptians. Thousands, hundreds of thousands left at night, their women, children, good and animals. When Pharaoh was informed that the Bani Israel have left the city at night and they have taken all their goods, he issued the command that they should be pursued. Morning did not come when the army caught to them. In front were the waves of the ocean, and behind was the army of Pharaoh. Screams came from the women and children. The Bani Israel said to Musa alayhi salam, "There were graves in Egypt. Why did you bring us to die in the jungle? Now tell us what to do. How can we be saved from the hitting of the waves? If we remained slaves, it would have been better." Musa alayhi salam said, "Do not worry. The promise of Allah will be fulfilled." He then hit his staff in the ocean. The moment the staff hit, the water split, and on both sides tall walls of water were standing. In the middle there was a path. Musa alayhi salam said, "Take the name of Allah and cross quickly." The Bani Israel happily crossed. The children, old, women, all ran while the water stood like mountains. Pharaoh said to the army, "You have seen that the water stood on my command. Now come and catch each and every Bani Israel and make him a slave." Pharaoh at the front and the Egyptian shoulders at the back. They went into the water. When they reached the center, the waters closed and the entire army drowned. Pharaoh was screaming, "Musa, save me! Your Rabb is true!" No one cared. Musa alayhi salam said, "Now nothing from you will be accepted." Finally all were drowned. The corpses of the soldiers blew up and came ashore. The corpse of Pharaoh was there too. His nose was bitten by a sea creature. Looking at the corpse, the Jews, the Bani Israel were happy and began celebrating. There were thousands of bodies spread to a far off distance. The bellies had blown up. This was the end result of that king who would not place his feet on the ground, and in his pride he took the poor to be lower than insects. Musa alayhi salam took his nation and went ahead. On account of the heat, they became very thirsty and weary. Musa alayhi salam made dua to Allah. So clouds covered the sky and shaded them. He hid the staff on a rock, split, and 12 springs gushed forth. They slept at night and they then woke up. They saw that there were seeds like hail on the ground. They ate it and found it to be very tasty and sweet. When day came, there went hundreds of quail birds flying all over and running all over. They could be caught just by putting the hand out. They started getting this daily. One day all the Bani Israel came to Musa alayhi salam and said, "We have become tired of eating the sweet meat and quail. Make dua that we can eat grain, lentils, cucumber, garlic and onions so that the taste of our tongue can come right." Musa alayhi salam looked at them in astonishment and said, "How foolish are you? Where the pure and nice food, and where is lentils and onions? If you want lentils and onions, go to a locality, farm it, and you will get it all." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Musa alayhi salam, "Musa, have you seen how much I have favored you and your nation?" But they did not appreciate. Tell them, if you will not tread the path of my pleasure, I shall punish you such that you will remember. One day Musa alayhi salam said to his brother Harun, "I want to remember Allah alone. Please watch that the Bani Israel do not go astray." Saying this, Musa alayhi salam went to Mount Tur. After 40 days he came down and his color had changed. A golden calf was placed on a platform. The Bani Israel was standing in front of it. Someone was ringing a bell. Someone was prostrating. Someone was joining their hands. They were chanting for the calf. Looking at this, Musa alayhi salam said to his brother Harun, "What is this?" Harun alayhi salam said, "Brother, this is none of my fault. You know Samiri." He said, "Give me the jewelry of the Egyptian woman. There will be great benefit." He then took the jewelry and made the calf. "I do not know what he will do tomorrow." I said, "My brother will come and will be angry, but he forgot the way of his forefathers, and how to worship Allah. He wanted to fight me. Hearing this, Musa alayhi salam left Harun. He asked Samiri, what have you done? Samiri spoke all confusing things. Musa alayhi salam said, be away, fool. Now for as long as you live, you will move about telling others to save themselves from you. The calf can never be a deity. Allah is alone, unique. He alone should be worshipped. It is mentioned that once there was a person from the nation of Musa alayhi salam called Qarun. He was very wealthy. He would fight and argue with everyone. Many workers were required to carry the keys of his treasure. Musa alayhi salam was advising a large group. Qarun passed with great pride. The Bani Israel made dua, O Allah, make us also wealthy like Qarun. Qarun went away in his pride and mocked Musa alayhi salam. It was the doing of Allah Ta'ala that one day, whatever wealth was with Qarun, all of it was sunk into the earth. His servants went to see Musa alayhi salam, lived for 120 years, and he advised his nation. The message of Allah Ta'ala came to him that now you will leave the world and come to us. He went happily to the house of Allah. His eyes was shining even at the time of his death, and he was strong as a young man. From here, dear children, we learn 10 lessons. Be just to all. Number 1. Number 2, the call of the oppressed is not in vain. The branch of oppression does not grow. Number 4, the end of oppression is not good. Number 5, famine is a punishment from Allah. Number 6, it is not good to oppress the weak. Number 7, the truth always supports one. Number 8, one should have love for all people. Number 9, taking support from Allah saves one from grief. Number 10, the bitterness of sin will have to be tasted by a sinner. Yes, this was the story of Musa alayhi salam, and we have come to the end now of our program. Jazakallah for listening, young children. We'll be back with some more stories on another day. For me, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.